Hello and welcome to my human design channel. Today we're going to be bringing up a subject of what is obvious and what is apparent and what is not apparent. Because we are now going to go into the human design area of the matrix to do with sleep. And again, it seems to be obvious to me and transparent to most people that when you're asleep, you're unconscious. Now, yes, there are people out there like myself who have the 57 connected to a motor, and if there's anything going on while I'm sleeping, I will wake up like that if it's something dangerous, because I have an intuitive gate that will wake me up and keep me surviving. At least it has so far. However, the point remains that when you're sleeping, you are not all there. And I mean it, you're not all there. And there are several things I want to say about sleep and human design, some of which you know, some of which some of you will not know. The first thing that everybody, I hope, knows about human design is that we advise people to sleep in their own aura. We sleep in your own aura because when you're sleeping with someone else in the same bed or within 15 feet, you are going to be conditioned by them when you're unconscious and when you're asleep. So you're sleeping next to an emotional person and you're not emotional, and they're going through their emotional wave, and you wake up in a bad mood because that's where their wave is. In fact, you wake up in a worse mood than them and you don't know why. You're being conditioned while you're unconscious. If you want to really come to who you are at an existential sense and live your life, it's good to be able to know when you're being conditioned and by whom and in what way. And you're not going to know that if you're sleeping in the same aura as someone else, because you're going to wake up as a mixture of you and them. And you're going to probably react because of that conditioning in a way that is not viable or advisable for you. So we say, look, if you sleep in your own aura, you can make love, and one of you goes to another bed afterwards, preferably the one with the motor, and all is good. You wake up in the morning and like it's hello, hello, you know, and it improves the relationship because you get to sleep and you get to let go of the conditioning that you've received in the daytime. That is number one, so that you become familiar with your own aura, so you can sense when something else is affecting you. The whole point of human design is to come back to oneself, to make decisions according to one's strategy and authority, and away you go. A life with less resistance than before. And each 7-year cycle, it becomes more and more like that. There's a fluid movement that comes because you're making correct decisions. And one of the most important things is not to sleep in the same bed as someone else on a regular basis, because that is going to mess with your authority. It's very difficult when you're being conditioned by someone else while you're asleep to make clear decisions when you wake up. Simple. But because it's me and because I love going into the matrix, and you know I do, which is why you're paying attention, we're going to go deeper now. But before we do, I need to just say to you, for those that don't know, I am Richard Beaumont. I've been doing human design for more than 25 years, and 20 of those have been training professional analysts how to do readings. Okay, that's out the way. Now, let's go into the sleep. What happens when you sleep, and this is something that's quite shocking. It's one of those things in human design, you go through, you understand who you are, you do your best to make your correct decisions, you find out other information about other aspects of the matrix that human design can teach you, and then you come across something like this. When you're horizontal and asleep, you're not operating as you are when you're awake. If you look at your chart, you see you have your black and your red, and your personality in the black has got all these different things in it. Yeah. Well, when you're asleep, it's different. You're not operating on a 9-centered matrix. You're operating on a 5-centered matrix. Isn't that incredible? We go back to our mammalian roots when we sleep. Not only that, whatever you have consciously in your chart, as in black in the channels and black in the gates, if they're part of the mammalian matrix, when you're asleep, they become activated. So there's a part of you in your persona, which is a watered down version of your personality, that becomes more dominant than when you're awake. For example, in my own case, this is my chart when I'm awake. All 9 centers are there, and you can see what I've got in each of the centers. What I've got black in the mammalian chart is the channel of struggle. So when I'm asleep, and this is the dream rave, this is who I am when I'm asleep, I've got this watered down version, and the channel of struggle becomes primary, which means the channel of struggle is basically conditioning me while I'm asleep. And I want you to understand what that means. It means the program itself, and we live in a program, we are patterns in a program, and the program itself does not want you to wake up. There is no advantage to the program for human beings to wake up. However, thanks to Ra Uru Hu, who like Prometheus stole the fire from the gods, we have the information to be able to wake up, to be able to become more conscious in our life. And when you're dealing with the sleep and you're dealing with the dream rave, and I will go into that in a course in the fairly near future, but I just wanted to show you here now, when I'm sleeping, the channel of struggle becomes primary because it's there. Not only that, my type changes. When I'm awake and I'm vertical, I'm a manifesting generator. I get shit done. I get a lot of shit done, amazing amount of shit done. However, when I'm asleep, I'm a projector. And what is being emphasized is the channel of struggle. What is being emphasized is, am I on purpose? Do I need to fight for my purpose? So I wake up in the morning ready to fight for my purpose because I've been fighting through it through the whole dream nonsense. And when I say dream nonsense, I want you to understand that the dreams, we think, oh yes, what dream did you have when you slept? Well, you can remember maybe part of what you dreamt, but there are dream scenarios. They are like episodes that we go through. And usually, because of the mammalian matrix, it's a kind of life or death struggle. You know, there is a dreamscape that we return to every night in our dream persona. And I've shown you I'm a projector in my dream rave. Most people are reflectors. There are as many reflectors in the dream rave as there are generators in the waking rave. It's quite rare to have a non-reflector dream rave. And I have witnessed that, and I've seen my purpose in lots of different ways because of this. But still, that emphasis is there on fighting for purpose, and it reflects in my own life. Happily, I know about human design, and happily, I know about making correct decisions. And I know that my correct decisions are made in the moment through my splenic generated authority, through the response and the connection to the spleen and the awareness. If I didn't know that, I would turn my whole life into a struggle. And if I was in the not self, I would be struggling for things that were not really in my purpose, but we're struggling about the petty things, the this and the that. And I know enough channel of struggles to see that some of the lives have turned out like that, unnecessarily, because of the conditioning within the dream rave. So when I recently did a video on no choice, and some comments came back and said, yes, we've got choice at a higher level, we chose to be born, etc. You know, you can't even choose to stay awake 24 hours a day. The body needs to regenerate. The body needs to sleep. And when you're asleep, you're unconscious. And when you're unconscious, you're also being manipulated, if I put it that way. You're also being held in a trap within the program. And it gets even more bizarre than that. There are certain weak points in the dream rave that become the issue in the waking rave. So when you think that here I am trying to wake up and I'm learning about human design and I'm learning about my strategy and authority, and good for you, because that's the only thing that's going to keep you in balance. Apart from your mad mind thinking about all kinds of crazy things and the pressures from the outside getting you to do that and getting you to do this, you know, if you're not making correct decisions, you're being pulled about all around the place when you're awake. And when you're asleep, and you're being manipulated at that level when you're unconscious, and in that sense, helpless. So when we say follow strategy and authority, and it's the only thing that works, it's not because we don't think you're intelligent enough to understand deep concepts. Of course you are. But those deep concepts and that understanding is not going to help you run your life, manage your life in a way that's going to work for you, unless you follow something that is beneath the mind, that is beneath the conditioning, and that undercuts the effect of what happens when we sleep as well. It's very important to understand that waking up, and this is the time to do it, waking up in this world is not an easy thing. Their odds are stacked against you. You can see the density of the not self simply by walking out the door. It's not a big trip to see it. Once you start seeing for yourself, you start seeing the density of what you're dealing with in this world. So sleeping correctly, if you can, and it's not possible for everyone, not everybody can be 15 feet from someone else when they're sleeping. I understand that. But also, if you can't do that, give yourself time to readjust when you wake up. And for heaven's sake, don't start making decisions as soon as you wake up, especially if you've been sleeping in the bed with someone else or close to someone. Your dreams are affecting you. You're caught in a matrix that has a safeguard to keep you asleep. The game is on. And I want you to know all the different aspects that are affecting you. And we'll go through it. I hope you enjoyed that introduction to another level of human design. And if you did, please like, subscribe, and share this video. And I'll be back very soon with something completely different. Bye for now.